this might be a bit of a, this will just be a tutorial, a short tutorial on the pattern making, obviously for the central rib here. I've got now 2 A3 size pieces of paper that I've glued together. I do suggest using the Prit green, lovely green color, for no reason whatsoever. I just happen to have it, and yeah, that's what I've got. Glue it together. Right. Okay. So moving over to the pattern. One thing I suggest, obviously, a nice ruler, a decent ruler, a decent tape measure. This one's not a decent tape measure, as at one stage I tried to measure something rather warm, and in doing so, the plastic has melted. So this one isn't as accurate, so I don't suggest going past 81 centimeters. No, I'm lying. See? I don't suggest going past 74 centimeters in that one. But yeah, one like this, obviously, so you can get around curves and so on. You have to measure the length like that. So first off, this is going to be a single. Stuff on the floor. This is going to be a single piece that's going to go from this brim over the top over to this brim, as well as I can try. Sometimes this crease over here might be a little bit difficult, but we'll see. So I'm going to start. What you do is you measure this side brim. Like I said before, if you're going to measure, always cut a little bit too much. You can always cut smaller, you can't cut bigger. So I'm measuring in my brim, and I know this should be about 8 centimeters, which it still is, because I'm that good. And so I'm going to make it about 10 centimeters. So I've got a bit of room to play. That's about 10 centimeters. Going all the way over the brim is going to leave me at a lovely whole number of 61.8. Make notes. 10, 61.8. And I'm going to go for saying this is going to be 8, but I'm going to make it 10, naturally. And there we go. Okay, so now we've got the lengthwise to go from. Now, one thing I do suggest now is you want to draw a central line down it so you can keep it as centered as possible. I'm confident again, because I'm that good, that my center line is center and straight. I'm going to try to keep to that. I'm going to draw a center line down the center of this paper. And what I do with that is I'm going to use a nice ruler again, but a rather long one. Okay. So put it in the center of your paper. Draw a nice straight line. This seems more like an art tutorial now. I use, okay, another thing going on to measuring systems, I use centimeters and millimeters, which, you know, is metric. And obviously my ruler's got a bit of inches on, the imperial system. I don't suggest using inches. I'm going to probably make a lot of people mad, but there's only one proper system in the world, and that's metric. Okay, so we're going to stick to that one. Right, so now we also want roughly center of where our pattern's going to be. So again, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to measure 71.8 plus 10 plus 10 will give me 82, roughly 83. Let's make it 83. Right? I'm not saying it because I don't know. I'm just saying that because that's the full length of our paper. So it's going to be smack bam in the middle of this one. Which means I'm going to have to try and make a nice curve down the center of this paper. What I do suggest then is you make in the middle of where the two papers join, you make a scribe line with a pen, pressing rather firmly down the center of the page, so that now you've got a nice center line. Okay. So then when you're going to measure 61.8, half of 61.8, and now I'm not brilliant at maths, I'm not amazing at maths, and I don't have a calculator here, but my calculator is currently recording this video. So I'm going to have to work this out in my head. So 61.8 divided by 2 gives me 30.8. I'm going to go with that one. Let's see how well that works. 30.9. Which I suggest using this rather large one again because that tape measure is a bit horrible. 30.9 centimeters. And because I'm not 100% faithful in this, I'm going to now stop this video and use the calculator. So I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Okay, so coming back from that rather arduous scientific research on finding the half point of 61.8, I am correct in saying that it's 30.9. So now that I've measured that up, I'm going to go on and measure the sides here at 10 centimeters. Okay, just making small quick marks here. And now I hope none of my professors are watching this because they probably asked me how do I have an honors degree in science knowing that I can't work out what the half of 61.8 is. So if they are watching, I'm sorry for that. I can't help myself, it's been a long week and it's Sunday. That is going to be my excuse. So now, yeah, carry on with this pattern now. I'm going to measure now the width of the ribbon that goes to the feet. So now I feel that at the base here, 3 centimeters is going to be an ideal distance. So I'm going to measure here 3 centimeters, placing the central line at 1.5 centimeters. Okay. Then obviously I want this band to expand a little bit as it goes over the top. So I'm going to expand it to about 4 centimeters. So right in the center here, I'm going to make it 4 centimeters. Again, 2 centimeters on either side of that line. Then right at the end of the brim, I suggest I'm going to go back to 4 centimeters. So I suggest again, going here, placing it 2 above, 2 below, and making your 4 centimeters. Now going back to previously saying that I'm adding on a little bit of length, that means that the end of this brim is not going to be exactly 4 centimeters, it's slightly under. But that's fine, that's going to add to the look of it, that's what I want. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to draw up, match up these lines. So I'm going to take this one from the 3 centimeters to 4 centimeters on both sides. Now that should be ideal. So now following this, I'm going to cut this out of paper, then I'm going to put it onto steel, transfer it to the steel, and then I'm going to cut it out on the steel. Another rather fancy device for working on patterns. Okay, now that that's cut out, and now you're probably going to ask, Calvin, now why didn't you cut it to the one side, because now I'm wasting 2 bits of paper. Yes, I didn't think of that. So now, I'm going to use it, but I'm not going to waste this stuff. I'm going to keep it for later, because I'm stingy like that. So I'm going to keep this paper because it's going to be used in the pattern later. Either I'm going to glue it on again, Pritt, bright green, works well. Using that Pritt bright green, I might glue it onto patterns later and make more patterns from it. This is what we're going to use now, so now I'm going to transfer it to my steel, and then we're going to go ahead from there. Great. Okay, so like I said, here are my 2 shop assistants, that being Thor on the right and Paige on the left. They've decided now that my dishing stump is somewhat tasty. So now they're going to be chewing the wood on the side. Yes. And while he's sitting down now, he's cleaning my floor with his tail. Gimme paw. Gimme paw. You see, they're so well trained. Where's my dog? Where's my Thor? Look at those puppy dog eyes. Right. Okay. And Paige is still deciding that it's thing. Thor has decided to join us here now. Coming along, I've placed now my pattern onto my sheet of steel. Make on a few marks, the halfway mark, the middle mark, on either end. This is going to help me for a bit later. And I have put weights on it to hold the pattern down. I do highly suggest that because, as you know, drawing along, you move the pattern along. there. And now I will place this pattern along with the other patterns I've used into together in my pattern drawer. So the nice thing now is once I have now got the patterns for, I've got the pattern for the brim, the pattern for the skull, and for the rib in the center, I keep them together. Next time I want to make one, I cut them all out. If I'm happy with this pattern, first of all, cut them all out, cut out all the pieces, and I know when I can put together with a reasonable success, obviously practice makes perfect, I can produce it over and over and over again to the same dimensions. So that's why pattern making is important. It takes one of the longest, but once you've got a pattern in place that you're happy with, you can make more and more. So let's go out and cut this out. Okay, I want to come down to what I'm using to cut my steel. I think I haven't addressed that. So I know it's actually coming along to my videos and I seem to be a bit more, as the great Alex Steele would say, a bit more yak instead of whack. So what I'm using to cut the steel actually is a nibbler. It's called a nibbler. So essentially like a scissor, this jaw moves up and down and shears it off between the two. This I was lucky enough to be given by my neighbor on a permanent loan, essentially. Seeing as he doesn't use it, he said I can use it, and if he needs it, he'll lend it from me. This has helped me tremendously with cutting the steel, as I can cut up to, I'm happy with 2.5 mil without much of effort. Cutting thinner steel like this, it cuts through like a breeze. However, these are expensive. These are rather expensive, so it's a good investment to have. It helps a lot. But it's not your only option. This would be an ideal situation to have one of these. So that's what I use to do the bulk of my cutting. And this is what I would used to use some fine trimming. It's just a normal pair of tin snips, tin shears. These are Stanley. I like the Stanley make. They're quite robust. I've gone through about 3 of these in my life. In all armoring, I tend to always chip off the tips for some reason. I don't know why. Although that was from chainmail making. So this is what I used to refine up the edges, which I'm going to do now. I'm not going to bore you, and let's see if we can quickly go through that.